Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Watch Me Work. So I am just going to be breaking down this PSD to get it ready for a one-page WordPress site using YoothemePro. Many sections of just one long about page here. Very nice design by Love Arts. He always does a great job of separating the PSD into separate sections for me. You should always make sure that your PSDs are separated. If not, it'll just make a longer job for you. But here I go. Maybe I won't explain everything I'm doing here, but at least you'll get the overall point. All right. I always start by saving, any images that are overlying. Let's see. So this is for the About page. So I'm just going to start a new folder so I can save all of it in one place. Logo. All right, I'm going to remove that guy. Any text, I'm going to remove that. So my main point here, remove anything that's overlaying so I can save background images. So on the initiatives, let's remove the title, all the floating boxes. Now we have a background. The next section, let's remove anything overlaying here. Now we just have a background. So I think you get the point here. Just trying to, sorry, my throat sounds crazy. What am I doing? Okay, resources, okay, partner. Information, background. That's just solid white. I don't need to save that as a background image. This is a specific color, so I'm not going to save that as background image, but I do want to grab this because it's nicely laid out. I will save this as a PNG together, these two, and put them in a folder. You know what? I can just use the logo too as a part of that graphic. So now all three of those are going to be one image. Newsletter. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to break it down into chunks. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. Now, if you noticed at the beginning, this isn't how everybody does it. There's a way to code this stuff, but I like the faster ways of doing things. So you see how this logo overlaps a white part. So there's a way to code this so that the logo div is overlapping the section before it, but I am a cheater. So I grab the whole image, how it is. Oops, what did I just do? I have it selected. Nope, okay. I'll try that again. I want to grab this top section, including the white part, so the logo overlaps it. Oh, look down here. I have a little bit of green from the section below it, so I'm going to do a better job of cropping it. Of course, I could have adjusted the crop bars there, but I'm obsessed with undoing things. I don't know why. Just going to come up a little bit so I know I don't get it. All right. I always use the Save for Web Legacy because the way to save for web now, if I do that shortcut, it like pulls up some sort of Windows menu. I don't know. I need to like change my shortcuts, but yeah, I know I do this long way. It's stupid. Never claimed to be the biggest on shortcuts, man, but still get the job done. So I'm just going to name this top background. You can also slice. You can slice these things into pieces and then export the slices. I like to do it manually just so I can really focus on one thing at a time. Okay. Name this top 2. I'm going to call this middle. You don't want to just save this the way that you want to save like a high-res JPEG because the sizes will be huge. So something like this, even though it's a large image and it's 308, I can go smaller on that because it's not important the clarity of this since it's more of a background. So I just knocked off half of the kilobytes right there. So I'm down to 139 just by choosing medium, and it doesn't really matter because it's a background. So can you hear my kids' TV shows in the background? Okay, what was this? I think it was a partner background. These being perfect as far as size is concerned is not really important because we're using them as background images to a section, so the background will stretch automatically. So sometimes in like the old ways of doing things, we would have to make sure that those two squares are the exact same width and height in order to get what we wanted going there. These guys, I don't remember what the section was, sorry. But now, since the coding itself will stretch the background to fill whatever space it's using, we're not sweating it. Okay, let's see. I do want this little orange bar. Now again, you can code an orange bar, but kind of no point, in my opinion. You can just insert a little image there so you'll see what I'm saying. There he is. I'm just going to save it as orange divider. Scrolling down, and I already saved that image. So I think I'm good to start coding. All right, so I'm going to go into the back end of the site. So what's going on is we already have a one-pager built for this conference, as you see. So it's all a one-pager, but we're going to make a separate page that says about. I'm going to add new about us is what I'll say, because this page is more about who is, you know, who they are overall, rather than just about the conference, you know what I mean? So once I create the page, I'm going to go to the page builder. So this is where we will start from scratch, okay? Select layout, I'm going to start empty. And we already know that I've got all those images saved, so I'm going to upload them. Upload every image I've saved already. My kids show, oh my gosh. My internet has been killing me today, by the way. OMG. Y'all just getting a sneak peek into my life. WeTransfer, Zillow. I'm looking for homes right now. Young Life for my kids. Facebook, I'm barely ever on there, but I am right now. Fundraising for my kids to go to Young Life Camp. TurboTax, I'm downloading tax documents so I can try to apply for a house today. Here are my tax documents. And then my YouLearn course. So working on my courses. So right now I'm just doing this whole watch me work thing, but I'm doing more formal education courses. You can get more information at youlearnwp.com and sign up for my email list. Finally, got my stuff uploaded. For the love, God. And this is the image I want, and it's taking me forever. Okay, come on, bro. All right. So now I've made a top section with this as the background image. I'm going to edit the settings to be cover, which means it covers the whole background. And I want it to be top centered so that I get that white section. Okay, back out, back out. So inside of this section, I'm going to add an image, which is going to be that logo. Settings, I'm going to center it. The logo's huge, so I'm going to go back here and play with the size of it. Okay, I'm going to, you see how there's a big chunk of white up here? This is always what I do, so I'm going to close out of this. I don't want to make any, well, isn't she cute? Okay, so opening this up. So now I'm going back to the original PSD so I can start comparing exactly what it looked like and, you know, grab any content I need from it. So right now I'm gonna remove a lot of that gap that we have up here. I have too many things open. Oh my gosh. My life. Okay. Told you watching me work. This is part of working. It's all the crap I have open. Okay, so you see how there's a big chunk of white up here? I'm going to edit the section. I'm going to make the padding extra small. So now there's a little bit of padding. You can even remove it altogether. So maybe I'll remove it and then make the bottom padding pretty large, which you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so we'll leave it like that for now. I will be adjusting this soon because the logo doesn't look exactly like the PSD here. Okay, because the logo needs to kind of cover halfway. But I'm going to grab this text. Enter a text box. Where'd she go? Okay. Sometimes I forget it's in alphabetical order. I'm going to go back to visual so it'll keep my line break there. I thought it had a line break. Okay. Now you see white text all bunchied up. So if I go like this and I change the background to being primary, it's going to give me a white font. Okay. And then I want to center the text. I'll make the text larger. I think that was the case. So we'll compare it. Looking back at the PSD. Seems like a basic size text, but we'll mess with it. Yeah, large might be too big. So we're going to take it back to default. All right, I'm going to give it some margin. Okay, I'm going to add some line space coding here. So if you're not used to CSS, you're about to see a little something, something. So all this extra CSS I've put in here is for the, the page about the conference here. So ignore all of this. Oh, you know what? I already made a line space code for that page. Line spacer. Okay, so you see this one that I made called line spacer. If this thing don't stop, I'm going to just use that same class to call that out. So I'm gonna go back to the builder text. In the advanced, I'm gonna say line spacer. I name things kind of weird. So now you see there's chunk space between lines. Okay. All right, so we need more space here so that we can see this guy. And it wouldn't hurt to make this image larger. Let me go 175. Okay, I think that's good for now. And we need some more of that guy. So I always just kind of insert a little HTML code of some line breaks. So BR, BR, BR. I'll come back to this. It doesn't look exactly like the PSD, but it's close. We're going to be having to change some fonts and stuff, but there we go. For now, I'm going to skip this. This is going to get very complicated. I'm just trying to build down the page. So right now, I'm going to add a new section. It's going to have the green image background. I want to set it to cover. 99% of the time, you want it to cover. In certain instances, you don't want it to cover, but we shall talk about those later. So I'm going to insert a headline, and it was called, I think it said, Our Initiatives. I think that's what it said. Let me see. Our Initiatives, yeah. Okay. I'm going to make this, what was it? Primary, so that it'll be white. Going back to the headline and do center. I usually just try to get the sections built and then come back and tweak it to make it look right. But there was a piece of CSS I already put in here. Titles main. So that, didn't want to do that. All right. I am going to not, I'm Xing the heck out of here because I just jacked something up. It's not letting me undo it. Again, this is how I work. Okay. Going back to my CSS because I want to grab, oh my God, I don't care about my scanner. Okay. Where was it? Titles main. So that's the word I'm going to use to call in the different font look here. Titles main. So yeah, that's pretty close to what the PSD showed. I think it was kind of smaller though. Yeah, quite small. And bigger line spacing. So, I mean, what do you call it? Like kerning, you know? Let me make this a smaller heading. And then I'll add a little piece of CSS real quick. We'll call it kerning. Or I'll just say kern. Okay, so I think it's letter spacing 2 pixels. That's going to be huge, but just for testing purposes, I'm going to come back in here and add the kern class. Let's see what happens. That helped nothing. Okay. So now that it's in there, I'll be able to see in real time when I make edits to that. So kern. Maybe it's not letter spacing. What is letter spacing? Yeah, it's letter spacing. Okay. Well, maybe I want 4 pixels. Why is nothing happening? Letter spacing, 4 pixels. Is it letter spacing? I am drawing a blank. So that's why I Google things. Letter spacing. Letter dash spacing. Holy crap, I was right, and it's not doing anything. Okay. Allow me to think this through. Kern, letter spacing, 4 pixels. Why isn't it reading? Maybe I can just say like 2em. Isn't it registering my changes? Kind of getting ticked. It isn't saving my changes, y'all. Maybe because title's main already has letter spacing going on. That's what it is. It's using the title's main letter spacing, which was 3.5. So we'll just leave that for now. Because if we change it, then it'll be changing it overall. Or I can make a whole new CSS class for just these titles, but I'm trying to move along, and then I will come back and do the tweaking like I said I was going to do. Okay, so what we have in the PSD is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 part grid. So we'll just put a grid in here as a placeholder and then come back to it. So what's next as we go down the page? This section, title, line, video, button. Okay, next section. Background image, we're gonna cover. I think it said who we are. Gosh, oh, I'm dumb. Woke Church Series. Okay, so I'm gonna put a headline. Woke Church Series. Under it, I'm gonna add the little orange dash thingy. Divider. It's gonna be kind of huge, so we're going to say 50% of its original height. Centering it. So that's fine for now. Obviously, I'm going to change that font situation. Insert a video element. Okay, I'll go ahead and center the video. I don't have the URL for the video at this moment, so I'm just going to keep this placeholder here. Under it, we had 2 buttons, so I'm going to enter button element. Okay, what's awesome about the button element is that you can put like 2 buttons next to each other, you know? But if they have different, like view more, donate, I already have some CSS that I can use. Right now, I'll just go like this because I don't want to, I'll say opens in a new window and donate. Just put a little hashtag there so it holds the little button place, but Okay, horizontal center. Now I'm going to go back because I think that in the site I've already made here, I already have some CSS classes of the type of button I want. So what did I name this guy? It's just button default large, but it's white. So let's see what happens there. Okay, size, large. Yeah, it's kind of just sucking up, boring. All right, I'll come back to that CSS, building down the page. Sometimes I have to remind myself I'm just trying to get it in, and then I will change the CSS later. Partner and resources. So this is a 2-column section. So we're going to say new section. In the row, we're going to say we want it to be 2 halves. So the first column, background image, is this brown one. Cover. Back out. And second column, this image is this one. And then we want to cover. Okay, so looking a little bit crazy. So we want to remove the gutter so there's no space between each other. Nope, that was not what I meant. Gutter, none. Collapse, sorry. We want to edit the section because the section has all this padding around it because it thinks we want that. So we want max width, none. Padding, none. So now we have 2 sections here. Now, saying padding none really kind of screws you inside of here until you add some CSS. So look, if I add a headline, now it's going to be touching all the way to the left. Well, actually it didn't. Huh, that must have been in a new update. Okay, so both sides I think need white text, right? White text for the most part, yeah. So we'll go ahead and say that this can be primary too, because primary is going to pull in the white text. Okay. Some more text. Okay, the side. Partner with us, resources. So that's kind of like a list. Big old partner button here. So, hold on. Gosh, I'm slow today. Resources. So this is, what is that? Beavis. Beavis is not a web font, so we use Oswald in this case because Oswald is a web font, but we'll get back to that. Just add another headline over here. We already have the little image divider. I'll just grab that, copy it, and drag her down here. So I'm going to say move it to the left, and the height I'm going to say 30 because we want it to be kind of tiny here. Okay, duplicate that because it was something like that. Okay, we'll fill all that stuff in a little bit. Okay. All right, we're going to have a huge button here that we're going to edit the CSS to make it look all big and green like that, but not yet. Set partner. Okay. Moving down the page, moving down the page. Okay, that's white. Our team, divider, and then 4 thingies. So white sections are easy because it automatically gives you a white section. All right, I'm going to go ahead and copy the headline just because it's already centered. I'm going to copy that divider image. It's already centered. Our team. Now there's different options, like if you want some sort of cool function where it clicks to open a light box to talk about somebody's bio, then I suggest you getting this plugin. It's called Heroes or something. Hero, I don't know, but it's awesome. But in this case, they didn't want that. They just want the picture and the title, name and title. Okay, so insert a grid, open the grid. I'm going to tell it I want it to be 4 columns wide, 2 columns wide on smaller things. we need a image. I'll just use that image of those guys as placeholders. What am I doing? Okay, so on the grid, we go like this. We'll say name here, title here. Okay, so there's first person, name, title. I'm going to duplicate that because they're just placeholders for right now, so then they can go in and change the name, change the title. Okay. Then this kind of gray color. E2, E2, E2. You know what? Since I'm teaching you guys stuff, I'm going to go ahead and crop that and just save it as a background image because you never know if you'll need this color several times and stuff like that. So I'm going to say E2. Coming back here. New section. Oops, background image. Upload the E2 guy. And then stretch that as a cover. It ain't the biggest deal in the world because it's like 1 kilobyte. So it's not like I'm wasting an image so much, it's just 1 kilobyte. So now I have that exact color without having to code it because I'm being lazy today, I guess. It's one of those days. It's rainy. Okay, oh, and then I already saved that image right here, so we're going to insert that and center it. There it is. It's going to be huge, so I need to change the height and stuff. It's probably still huge, but just testing it out. And there goes the baby. She's about to start going crazy on us. Ugh, that's not what I want. Center. Maybe it's a little small now, so we'll say 200. Yeah, my daughter gets scared of like some of the shows she watches. Oh my god. What's wrong, baby? What's wrong, baby? What? It's okay. So now we have a newsletter element we want to plug in.
It's orange.
It is orange. Okay, so they have a newsletter element you can just plug in. It has, you know, you can stack it on the settings, so it's a grid. Baby! Shh. Name fields. We're going to go like this to make it the max width of this whole section. Shh, baby. Shh. Well, max width of this section is small. We can also do something, let's see, since it's all kind of centered right down the middle, I'm going to do something a little tricky. I'm going to do a 3-column grid and then slam it all into the center column, which is still fine because once you go on mobile, those 2 empty columns just disappear, so it's not going to give me any trouble. I'm going to take this back off of max width small and just make it default. And then I am going to, oh no, I'm going to edit this newsletter to not have such a big gutter. Small. Let's see, make the things large. The button, I want it to be full width. Button style, we can just say primary, I guess, for now. So there's some coding that's involved with making it look exactly how you wanted it to look, but this is good for now. And then we have some social media buttons and a little statement down there. Social media buttons. I'm going to center them. Very simple, because now all you need to do is just plug in the URLs. Like, you'll include the HTTPS, blah, 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 blah. And whatever URL you put in, it's going to be, like, I'll just use our Facebook group here. Where did I go? Okay. Obviously, I don't need all of that. But you see how just by plugging in a Facebook thing, it knew to pull up a Facebook icon. So that was my only point there. Is that you just insert any social media things and it'll pull up the right icon. So right now, I'm just going to put that in for the placeholder. And then there was a little text statement. It was in green. I may have to code in that green, but let's just grab what this statement was. Center it. Back out. Save page. All right, so we have successfully just went down the page and inserted some stuff. We have obviously these big chunks of things to do, which is going to be tricky. It's going to be a trial and error for me to get this exactly right. Obviously we have font situations, the button situations, entering this content and making the font look how it's supposed to look, making that button look right. You know, this is centered and has green titles. So I think you get my point that there are things that we need to edit CSS wise, but we have built the page. So now if I refresh the About Us page, see, this looks crazy. I'm going to have to change this. Crazy this. I'm going to have to change this. He's cut off. I got to think of a new idea for that. Okay, so we can go down the page. Let me refresh it. The initiatives, this was placeholder city. I need to do all those 5 boxes. This font needs to be changed, but there's the placeholder for that, 2 buttons that need to be edited, this content and information that will need to be edited to look, you know, the fonts. I'm going to use Oswald, like I said. Our team, this needs to be changed. Obviously, these are placeholders, needs to be centered, the titles were green. This is pretty close, but I just need to edit all this CSS to make it, you know, look the way he had it in the PSD. But that was me building a page with YoothemePro. Let me know your thoughts.